It was a crisp autumn afternoon when little Alara, with her golden curls bouncing, timidly approached the gates of the legendary Silverfang Castle. The castle was massive, its stone walls glistening under the late afternoon sun, guarded by the fiercest warriors in the kingdom. Rumor said the Alpha King himself resided inside, a ruler both feared and respected, known for his strength, wisdom, and his mysterious past. Alara clutched a worn-out photograph of her mother. Her small voice trembled as she asked the guards, "Please, may I see the king? I need to ask him something." The guards exchanged glances. Few dared approach the Alpha King, let alone a little child. But something in her eyes, a mixture of innocence and urgency, moved them. "Wait here," one finally said, and they escorted her into the Grand Hall, a place where tapestries depicting heroic battles adorned the walls. Part 20. The Alpha King Darius, sat on his throne, exuding a commanding presence. His piercing amber eyes scanned the hall as the doors opened. When they saw Alara, he raised an eyebrow, intrigue. "And who might this little visitor be?" he asked, his deep voice echoing. Alara stepped forward, clutching the photo. "I want to know, why is my mom's photo in your castle?" Her voice shook, but her eyes were unwavering. The room fell silent. Even the guards seemed frozen. The Alpha King's gaze softened, a shadow of emotion crossing his face. Slowly, he took the photograph from her hands. Part 3. A Forgotten Love. Darius held the photo close. It was a picture of a young woman, laughing in the sun, her eyes warm and full of life. He swallowed hard. "I knew your mother," he finally said. "She was the light of my life." Alara's heart raced. "She knew you." Darius nodded, his voice grew softer, almost a whisper. "Before you were born, your mother and I, we loved each other. But circumstances tore us apart. I never stopped thinking about her, and well, your picture is the only memory I could hold on to." Tears welled up in Alara's eyes. I didn't know. You were very young when she left," Darius said gently. "I didn't know how to reach you, and I never wanted to impose. But seeing you now, it feels like fate brought you here." Part 4. The Unbelievable Truth. Alara stepped closer, curiosity burning in her eyes. "King, what really happened to her?" Darius looked away, his jaw tight. "Your mother, she saved my life once. There was an attack on the castle, and she didn't hesitate to help me, even risking everything. After that, she disappeared. I searched, but I never found her. I only had this photograph to remind me of her courage and love." Alara gasped. "So you knew her like a hero?" "Yes," Darius said, his eyes glimmering. "She was my hero. And now you remind me of her. All her strength, all her heart, I see it in you." Part 5. A New Bond. Alara reached out, timidly placing her hand on his arm. Will you tell me more about her?" Darius smiled, a rare, genuine smile that lit up his usually stern face. "I will, little one. From the beginning, everything. You deserve to know who your mother was, and why she mattered." Over the next hours, Darius shared stories of her bravery, her laughter, her kindness, and the love they once shared. Alara listened, captivated, as the Alpha King spoke not just as a ruler, but as a man who had loved deeply and lost. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, a bond had formed, a bridge between the past and the present, between a king and a little girl searching for the truth. Part 6. In for Promise. Before Alara left, Darius knelt and held her hands. "You are her daughter, and that makes you a part of my family now. I promise I will always protect you. And maybe, one day we'll uncover the rest of her story together." Alara smiled, finally understanding. She didn't just find answers. She found a protector, a storyteller, and a link to the mother she missed so dearly. As she walked away from Silverfang Castle, holding her photo tightly, she knew something unbelievable had happened. Her mother's past had finally met her present, through the most unexpected person, the Alpha King himself. The next morning, Alara returned to Silverfang Castle, this time with the king personally inviting her. The Grand Hall felt different in the daylight. Less intimidating, more like a place where stories lived and breathed. Darius led her to a secret chamber behind the throne, a room she had never noticed before. Its walls were lined with scrolls, ancient tomes, and a large map of the kingdom. In the center sat a small chest, locked but intricately carved. "This," Darius said, "holds the truth about your mother. But what you're about to see, it may change everything you thought you knew." Alara's small hands trembled as he opened the chest. Inside were letters, journals, and a delicate locket engraved with her mother's initials. She gasped. The letters. Darius handed her the first letter, written in her mother's elegant handwriting. "My dearest Darius, if you are reading this, then fate has kept you safe and strong. I had to leave, for the kingdom was not safe, not for me, not for anyone I love. One day, my little girl will know the truth. Protect her, guide her, and never let her face darkness alone." Alara's eyes widened. "She knew I would meet you." Darius nodded solemnly. "She left these for me and for you. She wanted me to be your protector, to guide you to her story, the secret mission." As Alara flipped through the journals, a shocking revelation emerged. Her mother hadn't simply vanished. She had been on a mission to protect a hidden artifact that could endanger the entire kingdom if it fell into the wrong hands. "She wasn't gone because she abandoned me," Alara whispered, tears streaming. She was saving everyone, including me. Darius placed a hand on her shoulder. Yes, and there are still people who would do anything to find that artifact. Your mother's disappearance was to protect it, and now it may be our turn to ensure it remains safe. Elara's small fists clenched. Then we have to find it together. The first clue, the journals hinted at a secret location deep within the Whispering Forest, a dangerous, enchanted place no one dared enter. According to her mother, only someone pure of heart and brave enough could retrieve the artifact. Darius looked at her, a mixture of pride and worry in his eyes. Elara, the forest is treacherous. Many have entered and never returned. But I will go with you. Your mother's courage runs in your veins. Elara nodded, determination blazing. I'm not afraid. I want to know everything about her and why she left me. The journey begins. By nightfall, the duo set out toward the Whispering Forest, guided by the light of the full moon. Shadows danced ominously among the trees, but Elara's courage never wavered. Darius remained close, his presence both comforting and commanding. As they ventured deeper, whispers of the past seemed to float around them, as if the forest itself remembered her mother's footsteps. Suddenly, a faint glow appeared in the distance, a hint that the artifact, and perhaps answers to decades of mystery, awaited them. Elara, Darius whispered, whatever we find, we will face it together. Your mother's legacy isn't just her past, it's our path now. Elara held her locket tightly, whispering, I'm ready. And with that, the Alpha King and the little girl stepped into the unknown, unaware of the dangers, revelations, and heart-stopping moments that awaited them in the depths of the Whispering Forest. The Whispering Forest was alive with secrets. Every tree seemed to murmur, every shadow seemed to move. The wind carried faint whispers, almost like voices from the past, sending shivers down Elara's spine. Darius stayed close, his amber eyes scanning the darkness. Stay close to me, Elara. Trust your instincts, and never stray from the path. Elara nodded, clutching the locket her mother had left. She could feel her mother's presence guiding her, giving her strength. Suddenly, the underbrush rustled violently. A pack of dark, shadowy wolves emerged, their eyes glowing red in the moonlight. They were guardians of the forest, creatures meant to test the courage of anyone who dared approach the artifact. The battle. Darius shifted into his alpha form, a massive wolf with silver fur and eyes that burned like fire. Elara, though frightened, felt a strange sense of calm. Her mother's bravery was flowing through her. The wolves lunged. Darius fought fiercely, but Elara remembered her mother's words from the journal. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the strength to face it. Summoning all her courage, Elara picked up a glowing crystal she had noticed earlier, thrown by a branch of magic from her mother's notes. She raised it high, and a radiant light erupted, scattering the shadow wolves. Darius, panting, looked at her with awe. Elara, you've inherited her power and her heart. Elara smiled, though her hands shook. I feel like she's here with me, guiding me. The hidden temple. Following the journals, they reached a clearing where the ground shimmered with magical energy. In the center stood a stone temple, ancient and imposing, covered in vines. The doors were engraved with intricate symbols only Elara could decipher. This was her final hiding place, Darius whispered. The artifact, your mother kept it safe here. Elara stepped forward, placing the locket against the door. The symbols glowed, and the doors slowly creaked open. Inside, the temple was filled with radiant light. In the center rested a crystal orb, pulsing with energy, the artifact her mother had protected all these years. But next to it was a figure she hadn't expected. A tall, cloaked figure emerged from the shadows, their voice cold and cruel. I've been waiting for this moment. The Alpha King and his little protege, the artifact will be mine. Betrayal revealed. It was one of Darius' trusted advisors, secretly working for enemies who wanted the artifact to control the kingdom. Darius growled, baring his fangs. You betray us after all these years. You dare. Elara felt a surge of courage. You won't get it. My mother trusted me, and I won't let her sacrifice be in vain. The cloaked figure attacked, but Darius and Elara fought together. Using the locket, Elara activated a protective shield around the artifact. The light grew blinding, forcing the traitor to retreat. The truth about her mother. With the temple safe, Darius finally revealed the truth. Your mother. She didn't just vanish. She sacrificed herself to protect the artifact from falling into the wrong hands. She's still alive, but trapped in a magical realm tied to the artifact. The only way to bring her back is to protect the crystal until the right time. Elara's eyes widened. She's alive. Yes, Darius said gently. And she's waiting for the day her daughter, her strength, and her courage can free her. Elara held the orb, feeling her mother's presence like a warm embrace. I promise I won't let anything happen to her, or this kingdom. Darius placed a hand on her shoulder, his eyes filled with pride and affection. Together we will protect her legacy. Together we will face whatever comes next. A new dawn. As dawn broke over the Whispering Forest, the first rays of sunlight touched the temple. Elara and Darius stood side by side, ready for the challenges ahead. They had faced danger, uncovered betrayal, and discovered a truth more unbelievable than anyone could imagine. Alara was no longer just a little girl searching for answers. She was her mother's daughter, brave, strong, and destined to shape the future. And beside her stood the Alpha King, protector of the kingdom, and now, her most trusted ally. The adventure was far from over, but for the first time, hope burned brighter than fear. The orb pulsed in Alara's hands, vibrating with her mother's energy. Darius stood beside her, his presence steady, eyes glowing with determination. "The portal to her realm will open soon," he said. "Once we enter, there's no turning back until she's free." Alara nodded, clutching the locket close to her heart. "I'm ready. I have to see her, I have to save her." A swirling vortex of light and shadow appeared before them, crackling with energy. With one last deep breath, Alara stepped forward and Darius followed. The world twisted and turned, colors blending and separating, until they landed on solid ground, an ethereal landscape of darkness and glimmering light. The Shadow Guardians. The realm was alive with shadows, twisted forms that moved like smoke, whispering doubts and fears. "Stay together," Darius warned. "These shadows feed on fear. If you falter, they will trap you here forever." Alara's heart pounded, but she focused on her mother's presence in the orb. "I'm not afraid," she whispered, though her hands shook. "I have to be brave for her." Suddenly, the shadows converged, forming monstrous figures with glowing eyes. Darius shifted into his alpha form, growling fiercely. "Alara, now!" Alara raised the orb, and a blinding light erupted, pushing back the shadows. Together, she and Darius fought, moving through waves of dark guardians until a magnificent tower of crystal appeared ahead, the heart of the realm. The reunion inside the tower, suspended in a magical cocoon of light, was Alara's mother. Her eyes were closed, and her face was serene yet filled with longing. "Mom," Alara cried, rushing forward. Darius held the orb toward the cocoon. "This will break the spell, Alara. You have the strength, the love, the courage." Alara placed her hands on the crystal cocoon, feeling warmth and energy flow into her. Light enveloped the chamber, and the shadows screamed, unable to resist the purity of her love and determination. Slowly, the cocoon dissolved, and her mother gasped, opening her eyes. "Lara, my brave girl," she whispered, tears streaming. "You came, you saved me." Alara threw herself into her mother's arms. "I promised, Mom, I would find you, no matter what." Darius, smiling, shifted back to human form and embraced them both. "Welcome back," he said softly. "You're safe now together." The escape. The realm began to collapse, shadows swirling in anger. Darius lifted his alpha form, creating a protective barrier around them as they ran toward the portal. Alara's mother clutched her hand, the orb's light guiding them. With a final leap, they emerged back into the whispering forest, sunlight warming their faces. The magical realm was gone, sealed once more, but the bond between mother and daughter, and the Alpha King, was unbreakable. A new beginning. Back at Silverfang Castle, the family reunited. Alara's mother, though weakened from her time in the magical realm, smiled at her daughter and Darius. "You didn't just save me," she said softly. "You proved that courage and love can overcome anything." Darius knelt beside Alara, his hand resting on hers. "And we will protect each other always. No darkness, no enemy can break what we have now." Alara hugged them both, tears of joy and relief flowing freely. The past had been painful, full of mystery and loss, but the future was brighter than any of them had imagined. The kingdom celebrated the return of their lost heroine, but for Alara, the greatest victory was personal. She had found her mother, uncovered the truth, and discovered that even the smallest person could change the course of destiny. And in the heart of Silverfang Castle, the Alpha King Alara and her mother stood together, ready to face the world, stronger, braver, and united by an unbreakable bond. Months had passed since Alara had rescued her mother from the magical realm. Silverfang Castle buzzed with life and joy, but the real magic was not in the grand halls or shimmering banners. It was in the bond between family. Alara's mother, Lyra, had fully recovered, her laughter once again filling the castle. She often sat by the grand windows, telling Alara stories of her childhood, her adventures, and even her time in the magical realm. Each tale was a treasure, connecting the past with the present, and teaching Alara lessons of courage, resilience, and love. Darius, the Alpha King, was no longer just a distant figure of power. He was family. The way he watched over Alara and Lyra spoke volumes. His protective presence softened by warmth and affection. And when he smiled at them, it was not just as a king, but as a man who had found a new kind of happiness. A kingdom united. Word of the artifact's protection and Alara's bravery spread across the kingdom. Enemies had been driven back and Silverfang Castle became not just a symbol of power, but a symbol of hope. Alara, once a little girl seeking answers, was now seen as a young heroine. Courageous, wise beyond her years, and destined for greatness. But her greatest pride was not the accolades. It was the knowledge that her mother was safe, that Darius had stood by her, and that the love and courage that had once seemed lost were alive in the hearts of those she loved most. A new dawn for love. One quiet evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, Darius took Lyra's hand in his. "You saved her," he said softly, "and in doing so, you saved all of us. I owe you more than words can say." Lyra smiled, her eyes glimmering. No, it was her courage that led us here. And you've been our strength all along. Elara, standing between them, squeezed their hands together. We're a team now. Always. Darius ruffled her hair gently, his amber eyes filled with warmth. Yes, always. And together, we'll face whatever the world throws at us. The promise of tomorrow. As night fell over Silverfang Castle, the family stood together on the highest balcony, looking out at the kingdom they had protected. The stars shone brightly, reflecting the hope, courage, and love that had triumphed over darkness. Elara whispered, almost to herself, Mom, Dad, we did it. We're together. Lyra hugged her tightly, and Darius placed a hand over theirs. Yes, my brave girl, together forever. Nothing can ever break this bond. And in that moment, under the starlit sky, the Alpha King, his queen, and their daughter knew that no matter what challenges awaited, love, courage, and family would always be their guiding light. The kingdom was safe, the past was reconciled, and the future, bright, magical, and full of promise, awaited them.